What's going on, guys? Welcome to Week 7 of the Playbook with Joey and Zach on WZBC AM Sports Radio. I hope everyone had a great holiday season and break. Tonight we'll start off by recapping last week's Wildcard Weekend in the NFL and give our picks for each of the divisional matchups this weekend. And I'll also mention some of the Giants' front office and head coaching changes as well.
Then we're going to dive into the Celtics and give our opinions about the next steps for them. There's a big trade deadline coming up. Then we're going to finish with some discussion about BC athletics, including BC basketball's recent huge victory over Clemson last Saturday night. We're going to talk about BC football's bowl game that got canceled and give a brief outlook on the 2022 season, with a lot of the recruits being already signed in the last early signing period and a couple of them being on campus now as an early enrollee. So let's hop right into it. As you said, we want to go over the wild card games from last weekend.
Some good ones.
Yeah, there was some good ones. Some bad ones. Tough ones for my Pats.
Some good games, some close games, some bad games. I mean, it's a little all over the place. But I think all in all, though, I think the wild card adding a 7 team, I wasn't really the biggest fan of it at the end of the day. But
I wasn't either. It's a little hard to keep track of, with 3 games each day. At least on Sunday, 3 games. Just kind of, it's fine. I'll keep tabs on every game. But it's not as exciting when it's just 2 games. You know exactly who's playing who after 1 game is done.
Yeah, I get that. I think from a Giants perspective, having an extra game, watching Mike Glennon and Jake Fromm play another game was kind of awful. But I think, from a standpoint of a smaller team not a smaller team, but an underdog like the Giants, having an extra game can either go one way, help them, or go the other way. We have to watch them and, watch them start for another week. But some of the games, the closest games, the best ones to watch, the Niners and the Cowboys, that was probably the best one overall. The Bengals-Raiders, I was rooting for the Raiders pretty hard, didn't work out. That was a pretty close game up till the end. Derek Carr had had a chance at the end there, and then I think he was picked actually in the end zone.
Yeah, he was end of the game, last play.
It was a close one, but I think overall, the 49ers-Cowboys game was the best game. Bengals-Raiders was a close one. The Bills game was a tough one.
That was tough.
The Patriots. Bucks game.
Josh Allen played out of his mind in that one.
Yeah, he was on
Bucks-Eagles was solid. Bucks pulled away kind of early and just kind of held their lead the whole time. Niners-Cowboys was another great game. Dak Prescott kind of a little bit of mismanagement in terms of the game clock at the end of the game. Sliding down 20 yards down the field in the middle, handed the ball to his own lineman, not knowing that you're supposed to give it to the ref, didn't get the play off in time before the end of the game. Never had a shot to get one more pass into the end zone to beat the Niners because they were down 6 points. They had gotten 7 right there. Would have been it for them.
Yeah.
Chiefs-Steelers was actually a good game in the first half, I thought. Steelers defense.
The last minute of the first half was 14-7.
They had that fumble recovery touchdown, the Steelers. That kind of brought them up. And then, really nothing else coming on offense the rest of that game. A lot of people expected that. I was kind of hoping the Steelers would make it close. For the first half, I felt like they did. And then Rams-Cardinals, too. That game was a blowout.
Yeah, Odell. Odell's back, baby. 6 touchdowns in 9 games, baby. I love it. Giants should have got him. It's all good. I want him to win a Super Bowl. Although I think the Packers still win the Super Bowl. But I'm not against the Rams winning because I want Odell to win. They got Grant Haley, former Giant. Dante Dion, former Giants. I'm rooting for both of them, so I wouldn't mind the Rams winning it all. But yeah, some good games though, honestly. And obviously the Bills game was a tough one, but from a historic standpoint, that was one of the best offensive games I've watched in my life. From a team's perspective,
Josh Allen played out of his mind.
I've never seen a team play that well all around.
That's gonna be the best game of his life. That's gonna be one of the best quarterback games I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was just wild. It was. I don't think the Bills.
They didn't have one drive where they didn't have a touchdown.
They didn't have a negative play. It was nuts.
They just walked all over us. Every third down, it felt like they converted. They didn't punt once.
Yeah, they were really good, though. Very good team. They didn't punt 7 drives, 7 touchdowns. Just missed a couple extra points. There's only 2 miscues. But, if you're up by 30, who cares?
Still,
but at the end of the day, it might come
100%.
down to that. One day, an extra point, maybe this week against...
But still, if they play like that every game, they're going to win the Super Bowl. Yeah. If they could play like that every week.
Yeah, they would have beat any team in the NFL. Maybe even ever playing that well.
Bucks,
it was
Chiefs,
nuts.
Packers, anyone.
That was a historic performance. But at the end of the day, though, as a Patriots... I know it's Patriots territory. I know it's a tough game, but I wouldn't dwell on it because I think the Bills would beat anyone very easily, any team. So nothing the Patriots could do that day. The Bills are just hot.
Offense could have stepped up a little bit more. It was kind of tough getting beat. What was it, 28 at half, 21?
I think it was 28, yeah.
Oh, we had 3. We got 3 coming
3.
to the
You got a
half.
field goal at the end of the half. Which, at the end of the day...
Give us a little bit of hope, and then started the second half. Just we couldn't score. They got another touchdown, and then after they got 7 and we couldn't score, that was kind of.
You got to stay close with them.
You kind of knew.
And Mac got picked. That was a great play by Jordan Poyer, though. That was just unreal. Him finding that ball in the air, but
Micah Hyde, too, in the first half.
They're really good, though. Was that Micah Hyde that had that pick, or was it Jordan
the one
Poyer?
where Mac lobbed it up to the back of the end zone and Micah Hyde came in.
It came in out of nowhere?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Poyer had I thought that was Poyer, but it might have been Hyde. You're right. It was just nasty. That was a great play. Nothing you could do there. But the Niners-Cowboys games, you were saying, that was a very close one. Very good game. Always happy to see an NFC East team lose. So seeing the Cowboys go down was kind of nice. The Eagles going down was kind of nice. But don't wish,
I don't like the Cowboys either.
I don't wish down upon them or, wish bad or upon them since Giants aren't in. So, I mean, I know they made the playoffs.
Yeah. I like watching the Niners, though. I was happy to see them win just because I think they're more of a fun team to watch personally. Just old-fashioned football. They're always kind of running it up the middle.
Yeah, I get that.
They play a physical team. Jimmy G, too. I'm still a fan of him.
Jimmy G's solid.
He's been all right. I think he gets more criticism than he deserves.
Yeah,
he's an
there's a lot of athletes that are like that. I mean, they just get drilled in the media for no reason.
I think he's average, at least.
You know what I mean? But
their defense played great, too, the Niners.
They were solid. The
Cowboys have good receivers.
I mean, there were so many good teams that played very good defense. Like the Bills played very good defense this weekend. The Rams played very good defense. I mean, even the Bengals-Raiders, both teams kind of played. Yeah. Both teams of the Bengals-Raiders, they played solid defense. It's a 26-19 game, very close up till the end.
Yeah, both teams have explosive offenses too. So
yeah, it was a good game.
It was pretty impressive.
Hey, 1-0 BC over Notre Dame. Mark McLaughlin just scored.
Let's go.
Got the notification. BC's actually playing Notre Dame tonight, right now, live.
Big game for us because seeding was been slipping a little bit with we got two guys going to the Olympics now and
losing 2 games last weekend
against UNH last weekend. Yeah, you hate to see that.
One game wasn't even close. At Conti was like 5-2 or something. It was nuts. But didn't mean to interrupt. But I thought it might have been cool.
There you
covering
go.
It live. BC basketball too.
We got a BC basketball again tonight too. It's supposed to start at 7.
BC basketball, yeah.
A little bit of a delay. There was a leak on the court, so
we'll
keep you posted on that. But we'll give updates as we go. So going back to the NFL, we got a couple big divisional round matchups this weekend. We got the Bengals at the Titans. That should be a great game. 49ers, Packers. Then there's the Rams and Bucks, and then Bills at the Chiefs. All 4 of those are going to be star-studded matchups. Really, all 8 of these teams have a legit shot to win the Super Bowl, I think, this year. And even though the Bengals, I'm not super high on. Actually, the Titans, too. I think the Bills, either the Bills or the Chiefs will take the AFC at this point. I said the Pats are going to make it the last time we were on the podcast.
Yeah, I had the Ravens. Didn't really work out there. But the Ravens, when I said it, they were like 7-4, and then Lamar got hurt. I only think he played 1 game after that, and they only won like 1 or 2 games the rest of the season.
Yeah, made it tough.
I kind of cursed them, though, because when I said it, they were looking good. They were 7-4. I think 4th seed in the AFC, maybe 3rd. But yeah, then they just fell off a cliff. So I guess maybe picking them wasn't the best idea.
I mean, yeah, it happens. Injuries happen, so it's tough to predict that kind of thing. Obviously, Pats is a tough pick for me too. Didn't think we'd get the Bills as a first round matchup because for a 3 seed, that's an incredible team. So it's just kind of a tough matchup from the start. Had we beat Miami, we could have played Cincinnati, and then who knows what would have happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bills Chiefs would be a great game this weekend. I'm looking forward to that. I think either one of those teams would beat either the Bengals or the Titans.
Yeah.
I would definitely say that'll be one of those 2 teams in the Super Bowl. And then looking at the NFC too, Rams Bucks, that's going to be a great game. Rams defense was playing lights out against an explosive Cardinal offense. Bucks obviously with Tom Brady, even without guys like Godwin, Antonio Brown, they're still an explosive offense too. It's nearly impossible to stop Tom Brady in the playoffs. So I'm taking the Bucks in that one. I'm going to go 34-28 Bucks.
Eli can do it. I need Eli out there.
I got Matt Stafford, who's not bad. I think Stafford will make it a game.
He's been throwing picks, though. I mean, this whole season, there'll be 2 or 3 plays a game where it's like, I don't know what he's doing, but then he'll throw a dime down the sidelines. And, he's a very good quarterback, don't get me wrong, but there's some plays that makes you, scratch your head. He's thrown, there was one pot during the season, 3 straight games, threw a pick 6, nuts.
Yeah, that was tough to watch.
But, so Rams-Bucks, it'll be a close one. I'm rooting for the Rams. Love Odell, as I said, love Dante Dion, Grant Haley. So I'm going to go Rams, which just, the Bucks would be a good game, don't get me wrong, but I'm rooting for the Rams, so I'm going to pick them. So I'm not going to pick against them if I'm rooting for them. I'm going to go Rams 34, Bucks 23.
Wow, all right.
I think they got a touchdown at the end of the game where they can either kick a field goal type of thing or go for a touchdown. They're let's say on the 2-3 yard line, and it's always that awkward situation where a team's up by 4 and they don't know if they should kick a field goal or go for the touchdown to put it away. I think I see that happening. I'll give the Rams an 11-point advantage in that 34-23. I think it'll be a close game. I think it'll be around 26-23, and then they get a touchdown in garbage time. But,
All right. Yeah, let's talk Bills Chiefs. So we got Obviously, another huge matchup in those two teams. The Bills coming off probably the best game they've ever played with that core group of Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. I don't think it's close. Their defense played great too. So they're coming in super hot versus a Kansas City team that also came off a big win against the Steelers last week, which they won by a good margin, but it was against a Steelers team that maybe shouldn't have been there.
Yeah,
compared to some teams like the Chargers,
having a 7th team in there. That Raiders game versus the Chargers, it could have when the Steelers.
That was a great game. Yeah, that was almost a tie. That was
which
crazy.
I think the NFL's rigged though because of that. Because the week before that, it was that Monday night game. Eli, I was watching the Manning cast, and they were talking, Big Ben, this is his last regular season game. If he ever made it into the playoffs, whatever, for one last run, this, and that. Then they're talking about the scenario, and it's like, Jacksonville has to beat the Colts, and Aaron Rodgers is like, it's probably not going to happen.
Blew up. The Colts are supposed to be in the playoffs.
They were advertising it a week before.
I don't think the NFL is rigged, but still, that game was crazy.
I think it is rigged. How could it go down to the last second to get a tie? It could be a tie, but it isn't a tie. I don't know. I thought it was rigged. It went down to the last second.
I think it's crazy. It's just sports.
It didn't have to go down that close. How many ties are there a year? Once, maybe once. And this,
but those teams are also so even. Those teams are also so evenly matched. And
come on, Sunday Night Football, the last game, the last second of the regular season comes down to the tie of that.
No better way to end the season.
That's what the NFL sees. They know that's ratings. That's why I think it's rigged. They know it's ratings. They know people will watch, and they know they were advertising it for a whole week that if there's a tie, both teams would make it in. And everyone was saying, if these teams both just take knees the whole game, all 4 quarters, and they're both in the playoffs, let's see if it happens. Then it came to overtime, and people actually thought it would happen, and I think the NFL knew they could probably try to take advantage of that and get more viewers. And people said for years sports could be rigged and all that, but I do definitely think, I don't know. I do think there was something there. But
anyway, Bills-Chiefs this weekend.
Chiefs.
Bills, the hottest they've ever been playing is right now. Chiefs obviously still got the best quarterback in the league. Patrick Mahomes, able to pull a play out of nothing. That offense is also unstoppable. I still got the Chiefs. I think they're going to go all the way at this point, at least to the Super Bowl, and I'll give my actual news updated Super Bowl prediction at the end of this episode. But I got the Chiefs winning this one, 41-30.
Yeah, I'll go Chiefs too, like 27-24. Be a close game, I think, up till the end. But yeah, I do think the Chiefs are the better team. I think the Bills just played unreal that day. They're a very good team, but I think the Chiefs just
it's going to be hard to replicate that against the Chiefs defense too. I think the pass defense was great all year, but we did definitely slip up last game. I think the Chiefs will play better defense this weekend than we played last weekend.
Yeah, it was a tough game overall for Patriots, like all around. I think all season
the offense couldn't really stay in the field. That was another issue.
I did say during the season the Patriots hit a lot of the teams at the right time. Where teams with guys are out and all that. And I think once you're in the playoffs, the Eagles, they won. I think 9 games and 7 of them or 8. I don't think they beat a team with a positive record. I think they were 0-7 versus teams with a positive record. So the Patriots weren't that bad. But I'm just saying, I thought the Patriots hit a lot of teams at the right time in the regular season, which isn't a bad thing. The NFL's schedule, a lot of teams are going to hit teams at the right time or the wrong time. You know what I mean? That's just how it works. But I think the Bills were obviously the hottest team, and they hit their wrong team at the right time for the other team. The Bills. It was the wrong time for the Patriots to hit them, but the right time for the Bills, obviously, and everything clicked. But
they had some good matchups in the regular season. That Pats-Bills, that first game on Monday Night Football, it was freezing out. Winds were going crazy. We just dominated in the running game. We recapped that one, I want to say week 5 or 6 of the podcast.
Close game,
That was a great game, yeah. Great win for the Pats. And then next game, we couldn't really stop Josh Allen. And then, you kind of saw it coming in the wild card that we had issues stopping Josh Allen when, the winds weren't whipping like 50 degrees. It kind of Kansas, him throwing 5 touchdowns. Just he didn't miss a beat. He didn't make one bad play all game, really.
Yeah, he was going off. I'll still take the Chiefs in this game, as I said, 27-24. Very close game, but it's a very good one. We can move on next. 49ers Packers. I got my Super Bowl champion there, Green Bay. I'll probably go. I'm definitely going Green Bay. I just got to think of the score here. The Niners played very solid against the Cowboys. I know they were, a wild card team, but they were better than. The Eagles were a wild card team too, and I knew that Niners were probably the best wild card team there in the NFC. With Shanahan as your coach, you're going to put up points. So I think they'll score on the Packers, but
for sure.
I'll probably go 31-17. I think there's a touchdown at the end that the Packers get just to put it away type of thing. Maybe 31-20. I like that better. 31-20 Packers. I'll go there.
Mm-hmm. I think this one's going to be a great game, too. I think it'll be a little bit more low-scoring, just the way the Packers defense and 49ers defense have been playing all season. Yeah. I think they have 2 of the toughest defenses in the NFL.
Shanahan's
so I think
it should
be close.
Too.
Yeah. But obviously the Packers have been playing this year and last year, I feel like the Packers have been playing the best football I've ever seen. Really, Aaron Rodgers been part of in his career. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is still playing at pretty much an MVP level. A.J. Dillon, our BC guy, is stepping up. He's been playing big minutes for them.
Aaron Jones.
Devontae Adams still probably the best receiver in the NFL right now.
Definitely. Unreal.
O-line
it's the best
good.
connection. The best connection easily in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
It's better. I would take that over Stafford and Cup. I would take that over
Stafford and
Cup.
Josh Allen?
No, I'm saying I would take Devontae Adams, from Aaron Rodgers to Devontae Adams over Stafford to Cup. That wide receiver quarterback duo.
I thought you were saying Stephon at first.
No, I was saying wide receiver quarterback duo. I would take Aaron Rodgers and Devontae all day over.
I would say that would be number one. I'd actually probably take Josh Allen and Diggs over Stafford and Cup. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, I'm saying Devontae and Aaron Rodgers first, then Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs 2, and then Stafford and Cup 3.
Could have been Dwayne Haskins and Terry McLaurin if things worked out there. But
that was your dream.
Would have been unreal.
You wanted that in New York, yeah.
Madden it was it. And we'll get into some Daniel Jones
for 6
talk.
hours straight, it was your dream in Madden.
We'll talk about Haskins in a few. But
it'll
be a good game.
My final score, though, if I'm giving a score for this game, I think defense will hold up strong. I got the Niners actually coming up and taking the lead early, but I think the Packers are going to kind of wake up in the second half. I think it'll be a close game where Aaron Rodgers has a 2-minute drill and he's coming down to beat the team. They're down 2017. I think he's going to go out and score a touchdown and win the game 24-20.
Close one. I like it. Last game, Bengals at Titans.
Last game.
Titans are the home team, and I think they're going to have Derrick Henry back for this game. If I know for sure. Let me see. I think he is playing though, but
if he plays, that definitely changes everything. But I think still they're one of the weaker one seeds that we've seen in recent years. With teams like the Chiefs and the Bills, who've been playing out of their minds recently. I don't think the Titans would stack up to either of those two teams as well. Even though they're still a good football team, they lost a lot of games this year that they definitely could have won. Losing a lot of close games. I'm not as high on Ryan Tannehill as a lot of other people are. So I actually got the Bengals coming out of this one 27-23. That Bengal offense is explosive. Jamar Chase, easy offensive rookie of the year. Joe Burrow had a huge step up this season too, with a little more help at receiver. Just the way that team's been playing, their defense has been good too, holding the Raiders to 19 points last week. We were talking about that earlier. And I really think it'll be a close game. I just don't see the Titans getting in the end zone that many times. I think we'll probably see them get twice, maybe 3 times, and probably end up with a few field goals. And I think that's what it's going to come down to for them. Can they, power through the red zone? Can Ryan Tannehill find his receivers in the end zone?
Yeah, I'm going to go Tennessee. Home team, got the week off. Derrick Henry's supposed to play. I think he wears down that Bengals defensive line, running the ball. He was a bull, first 7-8 weeks of the season. He was probably the MVP until he got hurt. I would probably go 23-17 Tennessee. I'll take them since the home team. So
close game either way.
I got Tennessee, Packers, Rams, Chiefs. You got Chiefs, Bucks, correct?
Yep.
Chiefs, Bucks, Packers,
Bucks,
Bengals.
Packers, Bengals. Yeah.
Okay.
Bengals is my only upset that I got.
Okay. I got Tennessee. I got the Rams. The Rams are technically an upset, right?
Yeah, Rams will be an upset.
I think the Bucks are favored in that game. I didn't see the lines, but I imagine they are. So
definitely by a little bit. Should be a close game. All of these should be close games, really. I really don't think the matchups could have played out any better. Really excited to see a lot of these games. Yeah,
we'll see how it goes. So talking the NFL, I got a few minutes to talk about the Giants. I know last time we were on here, we were talking about Daniel Jones, Saquon, Joe Judge. We knew Gettleman would be gone, but the Giants just finished the season 4-13. 6 straight games. At the end of the season, we finished with double-digit losses. And now we had a 1946 record over the last 4 years. The Giants made the decision to fire Dave Gettleman at the GM position, and then they also fired Joe Judge, who was our head coach for 2 seasons. President John Mara finally made a decision of doing it the right way, where you get rid of both the GM and the head coach rather than splitting it up and keeping the head coach and getting rid of the GM, or vice versa, keeping the GM but getting rid of the head coach, like we did with Gettleman and Shermer, and then getting Joe Judge. I think we did things the right way, restarting completely. I do think, though, although getting rid of Judge was the right move, since we needed a fresh start, Joe Judge is a great guy, and on a personal level, I definitely feel bad for him. I don't think he was handed the best deck of cards. First season as a head coach was in the pandemic last year, so he never really got to have a training camp and get himself equipped with what it is like being a head coach and having, a rookie mini camp and OTAs and all that. He didn't have that last year in 2020. And then this last year, he still inherited an offensive line that was awful. The Giants, have had a roster that neglects the offensive line for years now, but he didn't really have the best cards to succeed. And I do feel bad for that, but I wish him the best. Hopefully he finds another job. I'm sure Bill Belichick would bring him back any day. But anyways, Judge is still getting next 3 years. He's getting $5 million a year. The Giants own $15 million, so he's getting a good deal there. But I think we knew Gettleman would be gone after being 1946. We knew he had to go, and that was the fourth worst record in the NFL over the last 4 years. I said so. Something had to change. Right now we have the fifth and seventh picks in the draft with $3 million in cap space. So there's a lot that needs to happen. The Giants need to clear cap space somehow. Especially when you have 2 first-round picks, those guys are both going to be making $6 and $7 million probably each.
Yeah, for sure.
And so you're gonna have to find a way to pay them when you only have $3 million in cap. So see how that goes. The Giants right now the 30th or 31st. I've looked at 2 different rankings. How
they do have some of the top receivers in the league right now. Though Kenny Galladay only getting paid $18 million a year, about a 7th-year guys cap space.
Yeah, that's great.
One of your favorite players in the team, I know.
I know. I love Kenny Galladay. He's unreal. Anyways. As you said, just like you said, the Giants have a lot of receivers. So I think in this draft, you've got to go offensive line in order to get the receivers, get Saquon, some more help, get Daniel Jones some help. 30th ranked offensive line. You're not going to have many people that succeed. And I know everyone out there is against Daniel Jones. And take your side, pick it, stay on that side though. When things turn around, Saquon did say last week on the radio that he hears all the negative outside noise and all the criticism. He said, make sure you stay on that side when the table flips around. And I'm with him there. I think Saquon, I'm still betting on him. I'm still betting on Daniel Jones both.
There you go. I don't think either of them. I wish Saquon could stay healthy because could be one of the best running backs in the NFL. And obviously, as you've been saying every week, Daniel Jones really isn't the issue there. You guys need a lot more help, O-line, defense. You kind of need it all right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to see if I get the clip here.
Opportunity that God blessed me with. Keep working. And
here he is, Saquon.
Like I said, kind of in a radio interview with Kim, for everyone that, outside in the world that were fans, may not be fans right now, for you guys that are going to write probably something positive or mostly something negative this offseason about me, just make sure you guys stay on that side of the table when things turn around.
And I'm with him there. I'm truly with him there. I think things will turn around for him and Daniel Jones. I think you need to get some help in the offensive line. 5th and 7th pick. Give me Evan Neal if he's there. He's probably going to go top 3. But if he's there, give me him. If not, I want Tyler Linderbaum either way. Center, the best center prospect ever.
He'd be a great pick.
It'd be great. If he's the best center prospect ever, they're saying. I've seen some of his clips and stuff. I saw his bowl game, and he was going up the field on a I would think it was like an outside toss or whatever. And so he was pulling to the left side. He actually had some speed. He had some versatility. It was pretty cool. But I'm betting on Daniel Jones. I'm betting on Saquon. I do think you got to get them both help. And if you think about it, as I said, I started this talking about Daniel Jones, and I got into Saquon because that line was great. Make sure you stay on the other side of the table when things flip around. Daniel Jones, though, he's going into his 4th offensive coordinator and his 3rd head coach with a 30th ranked offensive line. I got this broken down actually here. The 8 teams that are left in the NFL right now in the playoffs, 7 of the top 10 offensive lines in the NFL are still alive. The Bucks, Niners, Chiefs, Rams. That's 4, but 7 of the teams that made the playoffs. The Cowboys that were number 1, Bucks, Niners, Eagles, Chiefs, Rams, Patriots, all top 10 offensive lines, all were in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. That's where you win the game at the line of scrimmage, really.
And right now the worst team that's left offensive line-wise, the Bengals are 20th right now ranked. The Giants are 30th, 31st.
Still, though, they got one of the best passing games in the NFL right now.
That's the thing. So they got Zach Taylor, an offensive-minded coach. Brian Callahan, their offensive coordinator. He's been there for 3 years. So he's been both years with Burrow. Or all 3 years with Burrow. Burrow's in the 2nd year. So 2nd year with Burrow. Burrow's been there both years with those guys. And if you look at the teams that are left, though, 4 of those teams, Rams, Chiefs, Niners, Bucks, of the 4 of 8 teams that are left, have top 7 offensive lines. It's like the offensive line is where your team is made. And the Giants
key today. It defines both your pass and run game. So it really is one of the most important. Yeah. You can't have a good passing game without a good O-line. You can't have a good run game without a good O-line.
Absolutely. No, that's the best way to put it. And I broke down, I'll run through this real quick. The Cowboys had the best offensive line in the NFL. Mike McCarthy was the head coach, offensive-minded. Kellen Moore, offensive coordinator the last 3 years. That's consistency. 2nd year as their head coach, offensive-minded, as I said, and Kellen Moore was their offensive coordinator for 3 years. It's like the Giants haven't had consistency at any of those. Offensive line, worst in the league, 31st, as I said, just about second worst. Head coach going into Daniel Jones' third head coach now, and he's only going into his fourth year, and he's going into his fourth offensive coordinator in his fourth year. It's like, and how can he find consistency?
It is a lot, especially for a young quarterback
too.
Yeah, trying to find a spot in the league.
And everyone wants Russell Wilson, and everyone wants Deshaun Watson. They would not succeed in this offense. I said this weeks ago, like week 10 of the season, like Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, they would not be putting up MVP numbers on this Giants team. They would not. They wouldn't be. No one would be. I don't think Joe Montana
they'd still be leagues better, but the amount you'd have to go to, if you were trading for them, and the amount that you have to go up for one of them, you probably have to go up to 5 and 7.
I don't think we make the playoffs with any of them. Like even Aaron Rodgers, I love Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, if the Giants had Aaron Rodgers instead of Daniel Jones, without giving up anything else, you guys would realistically probably be 9 and 8.
I don't think we make the playoffs, dude. The offensive line's awful, and I mean the defense. We lost the last 6 games by double digits, so I know the offense plays a role in that, but the defense fell apart later in the year towards the end. I mean they were close at every game, but typically in garbage time they were giving up touchdowns. So they didn't really care. But at the end of the day, that's fine.
You guys do still have some talent, though, especially at receiver.
Yeah.
You got some young guys, Kadarius Toney.
So another guy I might be out on, actually.
Already?
I don't know. He's there's an injury every week with him. He's finding new injuries every week.
He has hurt a lot, but he's still got a lot of potential. Oblique, where did he play? Ole Miss in college?
Florida, right? Florida. He's pretty good there, too.
Yeah, he looked good there.
But the Cowboys are the best offensive line. Bucks have Bruce Arians as the head coach, offensive mind, as I said, Byron Leftwich in his third year. So there you go. There's another team.
Hey, not Bill Belichick.
I got him listed here, but they had Bruce Arians, offensive mind, as I said, also in his second year with the team, the Bucks, and Byron Leftwich is his third year as offensive coordinator. It's like the Giants can't find consistency in any of those three things: head coach, offensive coordinator, or a head coach that's offensively minded. We don't have any of those. Kyle Shanahan in his fifth year as head coach of the Niners. Offensive guru, calls plays there. Nick Sirianni, first year with the Eagles, but offensive-minded. Andy Reid, ninth year with the Chiefs. Offensive guru, Eric Bieniemy, their offensive coordinator in his fourth year. Sean McVay in his fifth year as the Rams head coach. Offensive guru.
All right, so I got a question then. With all these guys, who do you want as Giants head coach?
Right now, here's the thing. The Giants have 3 candidates right now. Joe Ortiz, director of player personnel on the Ravens. And then they also have Ryan Poles, an executive on the Chiefs, went to BC, was an offensive lineman with Matt Ryan in the Matt Ryan days. I think he was drafted around 2004. He's the second candidate. And the third one is Joe Shane, and Brian Dable would be the head coach, I think, if we brought him in. And I think right now, Ryan Poles, I don't know what he would, don't get me wrong, he's with the Chiefs, probably be great. I don't know what head coach he'd bring in, hopefully an offensive one, but I know if we got Joe Shane from the Bills, it would realistically Brian Dable, and you saw how well that Bills offense played that game. The Giants need something like that. And I wasn't all in on them before, but once I saw that Bills game on Saturday, I'm all in on that duo, Dable and Joe Shane from the Bills. All in. I hope we get them. I'd love it. I'd love it.
Yeah,
I'd
bare minimum on the floor. Anything they do could be better than what you got last
Joe
season.
Judge, nothing wrong with the guy. Very big fan of him. He's a great guy.
Makes a lot of excuses.
Special teams.
Broken headsets. What else was there?
We need an offensive coach.
Stories last year.
That's the thing. I think Joe Judge is a great guy, though. Don't get me wrong. I'm wishing him nothing but the best. I'll be a fan of him no matter where he ends up. Hopefully he succeeds wherever he goes.
He is mad funny. I'll give him that.
And he's a good guy, too. And Giants fans actually were DMing him on Facebook, I guess, and he was replying to them. Very respectful messages. People were giving him some support. And seems a very down-to-earth guy. Hope everything works out for him and his family as well. I think they'll probably...
Threw a party for all the staff that he got fired.
Only 3 players went, and that's another thing. Daniel Jones, Logan Ryan, David Sills, only players that attended that. And Daniel Jones was there. I give him credit being a captain there. I'm sure there were players that turned it down. I'm sure that there were players that couldn't make it that wanted to. I'm sure there was a mix of everything.
That's tough, only 3 players coming.
Daniel Jones being there, though, speaks lengths about how much he cares about his head coach, and he never threw him under the bus, and Judge never threw him under the bus. Logan Ryan was an advocate for Joe Judge all year. But either way, I just went through 7 teams there that all had offensive-minded coaches. The Packers, Titans, Bills, Bengals. The Titans have Vrabel as their head coach. He's a defensive guy, but McDermott, offensive. McDermott, I think, is actually defensive, but the Packers,
I would say so.
Matt LaFleur, Kingsbury on the Cardinals, offensive guy. In his third year. There was only one head coach that was in his first year in the playoffs, and that was Eagles, head coach Nick Sirianni. It's just like the Giants weren't going to succeed with a special teams coach realistically. I think if you get Daniel Jones,
that was a top hire. I think
things will work out.
The only real positive that Joe Judge had coming in was that he was kind of a player's coach. At least he was. That's what the media was saying about him. He could get the support of the players.
He's a good guy, yeah.
Get guys to buy in, and the fact that he coached under Bill Belichick for numerous seasons as one of his top assistants.
Yeah.
So I mean, that happens every season. I mean, you see Gerard Mayo right now, our linebackers coach, getting interviewed by the Broncos for the head coaching job. It's just crazy. I mean, Gerard Mayo is playing for us in like 2014.
He's going to work now.
Yeah, he already might become the head coach of the Broncos, which is crazy. Seems like every team just kind of wants those inside secrets from Bill Belichick. I mean, what's really going on in his coaching, how he has been so successful across his career. I mean, you see Brian Flores. I thought that was a questionable firing when the Dolphins fired him last week. He didn't have a bad season. They started poor, 1-7 or something, and then won 7 straight.
It was solid.
And he doesn't have he's not working with a super talented roster either. I mean, he's got Tua. There's a solid piece there. Liam Eichenberg from Notre Dame, the O-line. He's a solid player.
Jalen Waddle.
Yep, Waddle.
Besides
Devontae
Chase,
Parker.
he's probably the best offensive player in that draft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean they've got some solid young talent in that team.
I mean, I think Flores is a
good defensive minded coach. Yeah,
I think Flores is probably a candidate for the Giants, but he's a defensive guy. I want offensive head coach. As I said, I mean, I made it pretty clear that I only 3 head coaches in the playoffs this year out of the 14 teams that made it weren't head coaches that were offensive gurus. Belichick, he's kind of an all-around guy, but defensive. He kind of is offensive. Belichick does everything.
He does everything.
He's not like a.
If I had to pick one side for him, at
like,
least recently without Tom Brady, we've been more of a defensive team.
Yeah, so I'd say defensive.
Even with Tom Brady's last few years, like when we played the Rams in the Super Bowl and we held them to 3 points, that was definitely that was probably the best
like
defense ever was.
He's probably the special teams. He does it all, but
he does.
Seven of the top 10 teams that were in the playoffs had top 10 offensive lines. 7 of the top 10 offensive lines in the NFL were in the playoffs, and then only 3 head coaches were in offensive mind. As I said, Belichick, Mike Tomlin, and Mike Vrabel, all defensive guys. Belichick does it all, as I said, so whatever you want to consider him, but he's not.
I mean, all the teams that are winning these days have
Sean McVay.
Elite offenses more than elite defenses. I mean, the Bucs last year, at least, they had their defense was probably top 5 the way they were playing by the end of the season.
They're really good.
But like a lot of the other contenders, like the Chiefs, like their offense is solid. It's nothing special. Not like their defense is nothing special. I mean, it's still solid. You got guys like Tyrann Mathieu, solid secondary overall. But nothing that'll blow you away. Nothing that will keep you to 15 points in a game. So yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with that. That offense is kind of the big trend in the NFL right now.
Yeah, that's the thing. The Giants got to figure that out. And I'll make this point one more time. Consistency at head coach, offensive line, offensive coordinator is important for quarterback success, the team success. Daniel Jones is not the issue on this team. We have the worst offensive line. He's going to his 4th head coach. 4th offensive coordinator, 3rd head coach, and had a special teams coach as his head coach the last couple of years. So things will figure out, and for everyone that's a Daniel Jones criticizer out there, you better pray things don't get figured out. Better pray the Giants don't get this offensive line figured out and find an offensively minded head coach and get a GM that knows what they're doing. Because if they do, things are going to be scary. And everyone's going to come back, and everyone's going to say, "Wow, Daniel Jones is this and that." You put Daniel Jones in the right situation, things are going to work out. And everyone that's a hater on him, that don't want to support him, stay on that side. You better pray the Giants don't figure things out, because I think they're gonna, and it's going to be a scary sight.
We'll find out next year. We'll have to run it back with another Giants special next season.
Yeah, I had to get this in. I got 10 minutes in here. We'll move on. But as I said, I made the point. Most teams that are in the playoffs, 11 out of 14, had offensive-minded head coaches, and 7 out of 10
that's a real point,
had top 10 offensive lines.
You got a good point there.
So there you go. No team, as I said, no team at 30th ranked offensive line like the Giants. So no team's going to succeed there.
There you have it.
You go.
So anyway, let's move on to some Celtics talk. Celtics have been kind of struggling overall as of late this season. A lot of people have been calling for one of Tatum and Brown to be traded, or just both of them to be split up in general. People are calling for Ime Udoka to be fired. We've had an extremely underwhelming season. Right now with us being 23 and 22. We have won, let's see, is it 5 out of our last 6 games? Which is good to see. A lot of these wins are against teams that are a little bit underwhelming, such as the Knicks, the Pacers, the Pelicans. We did beat the Bulls. That was a good win. Disappointing loss against the Sixers in those out of those last 6 games. So what I personally think right now that Ime Udoka needs to get fired. He's made a lot of questionable decisions, especially in late game. It seems that we always kind of fall apart towards the end of the game. Ball movement always stagnates. Mm-hmm. Defensive matchups are a little weird. I was at the game against the Spurs 2 weeks ago that we blew at the last minute, actually. We lost by 2 points that game.
Yeah.
And for the last 3 minutes, we were Dejounte Murray, obviously their best player. He was cooking that game. We had Dennis Schroeder, who's 6 foot flat, guarding this guy who's 6'5", and their best shooter, best offensive player. Dejounte Murray really carried the Spurs down the stretch there, hitting a couple big time baskets for them. it was a little questionable. Just, we got defenders like Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown. Why are they not guarding him? A lot of questionable defensive rotations he has. Lineup decisions sometimes too, with the way he rotates guys like Schroeder, Smart. For big men, Rob Williams and Al Horford sometimes gets a little complicated. There's no real consistency with this team, even when everyone's healthy. And just the way we fall apart at the end of games too. It's just frustrating as a fan. I definitely want to see some change. I don't think we should trade Tatum or Brown just yet. I think they're two of the best players in the NBA, and that would be one of the biggest mistakes ever, trading one of those guys away. I don't think if we traded away one of those guys, then we could get more value in return than we traded away, just because of the talent and potential of those guys. We got a game tonight at 7:30 against the Charlotte Hornets. Hopefully we can get a big win. They've been playing solid. We'll see how it goes. Right now we're third in our division. Couple games actually tied up Toronto, which is good to see. Us coming back up a little bit. Big trade deadline coming up too. So actually, as of yesterday, the deal was officially announced today. The Celtics traded Juancho Hernan Gomez, who didn't really play at all much of the season. You kind of just always saw him on the bench, which is a little disappointing because I thought when he signed him, maybe he'd get a little bit of play time. So we traded him for PJ Dozier and Bol Bol. It was a part of a 3-team deal that included the Spurs and the Nuggets. And then the Spurs also traded Bryn Forbes to the Nuggets. I was a little upset about that we could have traded for Bryn Forbes because I think we could use kind of a veteran point guard like that. The PJ Dozier, though, even though he's hurt right now, he's a solid backup wing. Should be good to see him play out there. He actually got drafted by the Celtics.
He was on the team for a little bit.
So he's coming back. He never really played for us.
Yeah, he never played much. I think he had like an ACL injury, right? And
something like
that. And that Bol was hurt too, but I think there's just a salary dump, $7 million. I think Hernan Gomez is getting or something, and the Celtics trying to save up. There's probably a smaller deal to try to save money for maybe a bigger one this season or.
I wouldn't be surprised to not see either of them hit the floor this season. But yeah, you got to wonder if Brad Stevens is going to make a move now. If what that deal was preparing for.
Probably the offseason, I'd imagine. Since I don't think the Celtics are ready to win now, anyways, I wouldn't really trade.
Really? Well, that's my issue. That everyone doesn't think we're ready to win now. But what are we going to do? Because we're not. If we're not ready enough to win now, we're not going to be ready enough for next year.
I don't think that.
I think we need a new coach first and foremost already. I don't want to say the fire email already after 6 months, but I think I've seen enough really. There's been a lot of questionable decisions. This team falls apart. We've lost so many heartbreaking games. Team falls apart at the end of a lot of close games. It's just it kind of comes down to coaching almost in a way. It comes down to leadership at least, and it seems like there's no real one player that we have that's kind of the leader of the team, which is another issue. But at least the coach could kind of step in and be that guy. And even Ime was saying that himself, which is weird. He was like, "We need a leader. We need someone that's going to keep us in check at the end of these games." I was texting you that. I was like, "Dude, you're the head coach."
I know what he was thinking, but I do think though. And I've kind of felt this way for a while, but I do think one of them has to be traded between Brown and Tatum. We've given them 5 years together, and you haven't won a championship. I know we got close in the Eastern Conference Finals and stuff, but
that was
at one point, Terry
Rozier
was carrying us. Terry Rozier carried us to the Eastern Conference Finals in one of those series. It's like these two guys were given a lot of chances too.
That was a scary Terry year.
I think he was unreal. I think it's time to blow it up. I think it's been time to blow it up, but. They've tried to figure out a missing piece, and they added like a guy like Schroeder to try to see if that worked, and they added guys the last few years to see if mix and match, see who you could put around them to see if they could succeed, and things just haven't worked out. You know what I mean? Like,
I would be.
Wouldn't know. I mean, Gordon Hayward is with this team too. I know even after Kyrie left, we kept him to see if he would be maybe the missing star we need, and things just didn't.
That
work
was
out.
even a weirder fit than when we got to the bubble. It's just our three best players were all small forwards. Just kind of got a little odd. There was a little bit of overcrowding at that position. With that being said, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Dennis Schroeder being to have his name come up in trade talks a lot this coming week. I think it's most likely that he gets traded out of anyone on the team. I think we're going to stay put and keep Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. I think Brad's very high on those guys and knows how much talent they each have.
You got to teach them to learn how to pass the ball between Jaylen and Tatum.
That's what I'm saying. We need new coaching.
Neither one want to pass.
I think that comes down to coaching. That and defense. There's not enough defensive effort and hustle on this team. We got a guy like Marcus Smart who's the heart and soul of our defense. But even still, with a guy like him on the court, there's not much hustle out there, it seems like, especially from Tatum and Brown.
Just texted me, he said the Celtics are in bad trouble. They need a hard transparent more than talent. And he goes on to say that they don't know how to play as a team. He's not wrong. Tatum, Jalen, they don't want to pass the ball.
We need
Schroeder's
someone that's going to
jacking
kind
up
of keep
threes.
everyone in check.
Marcus Smart's jacking up threes, which I love Marcus
You know who I
Smart.
went on that you might call me crazy for this? Marcus Morris. I kind of miss when he was on the team.
Oh, no,
he was
solid.
tough. He played hard defense.
I'm a big Clippers guy.
I like him a lot.
They all hustle.
I wish we had a guy like him. And we could honestly, if we traded Schroeder, we could get a guy like him in return.
Definitely.
I think he would help us more.
I take anyone in that Clippers team. There wasn't a loose ball in that Western Conference Finals last year that they didn't dive on. They were hitting their head off the court. They were flying out of bounds, going into the stands. There wasn't a loose ball that team wasn't going for. That's why I started liking them. Because they hustled. It was not a play.
Hard, yeah. You don't really see it with the Celtics anymore.
They all just wanted to go. They all had that dog mentality. They just wanted to go. They were hustling for the ball. Every loose ball, there wasn't one they didn't get. And after like the second game I watched it, I was like, this team goes. They go hard.
They play hard every night.
They play hard for Tyronn Lue, very good coach, but they give it their all every game. And even if they're not fully there with talent, since they really only had Paul George last year as a star in that playoff series, once they got Kawhi, if they got Kawhi back, I think they would have won. But regardless,
yeah, Kawhi would be the difference maker on any team.
Uh-oh.
So if you add him to that Clippers squad, then
just coming in, Jim Harbaugh will likely take the Las Vegas Raiders head coaching job if offered. So just coming in here, just got to report live, but it'd be pretty cool. But that's the thing. I mean, I think at the end of the day, the Celtics, I think my uncle put it best, heart is a problem on this team. If you don't have a team that's going to hustle, I mean, the Clippers didn't have that much talent last year. It was really just Paul George, and they went to the Western Conference Finals.
We have more talent than the Clippers had last year.
Yeah, and they were just they were very.
Jaylen Brown was injured, but I mean, the rest of our team plus Jason Tatum, and we
had solid role players too.
Team.
And I mean, the Clippers don't get me wrong;
we did play the Nets, though, to be fair.
Terrence Mann, very
winning
good.
4-1 was losing 4-1. I mean, it was expected, kind of, going up even without Kyrie. That team is still lethal with Kevin Durant and James Harden, and Kyrie did play a little bit that series as well. So I mean, kind of saw it coming. Even if we had Jaylen Brown and Rob Williams, and I think there was one more player out that series, we still would have lost 4-2 maybe if we were real lucky 4-3. But there was no shot we were coming out of that series alive. Going up against that kind of talent, especially today too. Even being fully healthy, we're still losing a lot of these games. But it's good that we finally had a few more weeks kind of with everyone healthy. It seems like things have started to turn up a little bit. We'll see how the game goes against the Hornets tonight. The Hornets have had a solid season. They are 24-20 right now, which is actually the best they've been in a little while. Miles Bridges has been having a great season, averaging 20 points a game. LaMelo Ball has been playing great as well, taking a big step up from last year. He's averaging about 7.5 assists per game to go along with how many points is he at?
That's tonight, right?
Yeah, big game tonight. 19 points per game this season, which is actually pretty impressive. The Hornets have been a solid team this year. They got Terry Rozier, a guy that I wanted to come back to the Celtics. I wish we kept him.
I love him. That's a dog right there. He dives on every loose ball, too. He gives it his all.
He's the kind of guy we need. We need a defensive point guard. I'm kind of sick of these.
Jacks them up.
We don't need any shoot first players on the Celtics.
I love Marcus Smart. He shoots threes like he's Larry Bird, though. He just starts chaining them up.
Smart's one of my favorite players, but when he's feeling it, he's feeling it regardless of
From a Celtics fan perspective, you may not want him taking that many threes, but from an outside perspective, you're watching him, the confidence, though, in his shots, I love that, though, how confident he is.
The thing is about him, too, is one day he'll be like 6 for 7 from 3, and then the next day he'll shoot like 0 for 8. He just keeps shooting. I do respect the confidence, though. It is good to see a player like that in the team, even though sometimes it totally backfires against us. Just someone that's always playing his mind. I mean, just playing as hard as he can, diving on everything. Always going at it on defense, just shooting with confidence every time. I mean, you need a guy like that on the floor, just kind of dominate, at least defensively in Smart's case.
Yeah, I mean, there have been a lot of offers. Like, I've seen teams are looking at Terry Rozier and Al Horford now with shopping. So I mean,
De'Aaron Fox's.
De'Aaron, that's the thing. That's a trade package. I would love that.
I think we'd have to go Brown or Tatum for that, though. So I don't know.
I think you could take Al Horford, Dennis Schroeder, 2 first-rounders, and something else, and you could probably get Buddy Hield. Which I know probably not 2 first-rounders. You probably have to throw 1 in there because I mean they're a rebuilding team. They'll take just those guys. They would shop any one of those guys.
You think them, 2 first just for and those players for just for
no,
Buddy
not
Hield?
just De'Aaron. Buddy Hield, De'Aaron Fox.
Okay, I thought you said just Buddy Hield.
Harrison Barnes would be solid. We could use him. I like Harrison Barnes in the team, but I mean we already have forwards.
Yeah, he's a good player.
We
don't really have space for him. He can just kind of ride the bench.
Rashawn Holmes then instead. I'll take Rashawn Holmes.
Rashawn Holmes would be great
De'Aaron
in
Fox,
this team.
Buddy Hield. I don't really want Marvin Bagley because I mean he still plays, but he's always moping about playing times. I don't want him.
No, we don't need any more of that locker room issues.
And plus, I think Robert Williams is better than him anyways. So
yeah,
I think Robert Williams and Rashawn Holmes would be an unreal backcourt. And Rashawn Holmes plays 30 minutes a night. I think he averages around 30 minutes a night, so he can play.
He's had a great season. He stepped up big time this year. Grabs rebounds, blocks shots.
I mean, you could take...
Finishes inside.
Absolutely. Dennis Schroeder's on an expiring contract. Al Horford's getting 30 a year, and he shouldn't be getting that. And then you could take probably a first rounder and maybe like Aaron Nesmith. Move all that, and then probably get De'Aaron. I probably have to throw probably 2 first rounders if you get De'Aaron. De'Aaron, Buddy Hield, and this is a crazy trade-off because I'm doing it off the top of my head, so I don't know how it actually looks like.
Actually, speaking of Nesmith, though, I was just thinking another issue I have with Ime that I forgot to bring up is that he doesn't really play and try to develop the young guys at all. We haven't really seen much of Pritchard this year.
Grant Williams gets minutes.
Yeah, Grant Williams plays. But he doesn't have the kind of... I mean, I would think that Grant Williams' ceiling is not nearly as high as, like a Nesmith or a Pritchard. I mean, guys who are kind of balling out and showing potential last year. So it's kind of frustrating to see him not be playing as much, especially those two, because I'm big on those two guys, and Romeo Langford, too. I wish we could see him a little bit more. Actually, on the first week of the podcast, and the Celtics were starting the season, we were calling him a breakout player of the year.
Yeah. I mean, he got a couple of solid games. A couple good ones. Not a 12-point.
But he's not really getting
He's
not really getting the minutes.
He doesn't take many shots either, though, when he's out there. He's really just like a facility. He gets the ball and just tries to throw it down low, tries to set something up. And, that's not even his game.
Yeah, he's more of just kind of a passive piece on offense.
Now he is now. I don't know why.
He plays good defense, too. I think he's a great defender.
He goes up strong when he drives, too. I mean, I think maybe give him a year or two, he might make a jump like Jalen did. But Jalen, was playing very well his first few years. Romeo's been hurt, hasn't been, putting up 15 a game like Jalen did his rookie year. But
I think we need more defensive-minded players in our team.
I mean, Romeo's one of the guys, though, where it's like, if he takes a 3, you find him taking a 3 in crunch time. It's, obviously you probably want
he
Tatum
can
Brown,
shoot
but
when he's open.
I don't want Marcus Smart taking 3s in crunch time, but I have to say this about Marcus Smart. I love the confidence. No, I actually love it. But
yeah, I wouldn't want Smart taking a 3 in crunch time, but you want Smart on the floor in crunch time because he always steps up.
I want Smart on the floor, always. He's the only
he
one
always makes huge plays of defense.
He's the only one that cares.
It's always him making big plays in
he's the only one that cares.
Defense.
But that's the thing. I mean, if anyone has an opinion on it, if we have time at the end, give me a text at 617-596-3150, 617-596-3150. Let me know if you want to come on. Give me a text, and hopefully we can have a minute or two at the end. You can give us an opinion on that.
Yeah, that'd be great. Absolutely. So now we're going to move into some BC basketball talk for the last 10, 13 minutes we got here. So last Saturday night, there was a huge victory over Clemson on the road last weekend, winning 70-68. The team was down 23 points in the first half. With about 7 minutes left, it was 34-11. I actually almost turned off the game at that point. I was following along, and then
Patriots were on too.
Pats were coming on later that night. So, it was a tough game to watch, especially after we had 2 heartbreaking losses last week to Pitt and Georgia Tech. Those games also went down to the wire, and the team just couldn't finish at the end. Especially in the Pitt game, we were down 2 points with 4 seconds left, and we had the ball. Makash and Langford dribbled all the way down the court, got a layup up. It was actually a good look. I thought he made a good move.
Yeah, he had a chance.
Yeah, he got to the rim.
You just want a chance.
Just missed the layup, which is tough.
Jalen Brown missed that 3 of that Spurs game. I mean, the layup of the Spurs game. But all he wanted is a chance at the end of the day.
Makai was jetting down that court. He was going so fast when he tried to shoot that layup.
3.4 seconds, I think, and he got all the way down.
Yeah, he went all the way down the court in
4
seconds.
He got there, and he was right at the rim. He had a great finish, and even though he missed that, you can't be mad at yourself at the end of the day. I mean, he was going 1,000 miles a minute trying to get there and just having a chance. BC would love to have a chance at any ACC game. You know what I mean? So that's just a win in its own. But
that's why it was great to see Clemson. You saw guys like James Carnick, Makash and Langford, Brevin Galloway all had great games. They combined for 54 out of our 70 points, the 3 of those guys. It was an incredible game. Brevin Galloway had a lot of clutch 3s down the stretch. It's great to see him play like that. That in the Pitt game, he kind of shot out of his mind because at the start of that season, I was not very high on him just because he would take a lot of 3s and miss. It seems like he's a bit of a streaky shooter, but when he's on big time.
He had 18 points, right?
Yeah, he had 18. Had a lot of clutch time 3s. He hit that 3 to take the lead at the end of the game. That was a deep 3, too. He's just a confident shooter. He catches the ball from DeMar Langford, just pulls up from 3 feet behind the line.
He had one good game I went to at Northeastern when I saw him play. And I watched even the away games. I'd always watch Northeastern games, not see him. And he was always killing, the shot attempts per game. He always was jacking out 10 shots a game, 15 shots a game. But, at the end of the day...
he put up 15 shots that game. Shot 6 for 15, 5 for 10 from 3.
I'd rather him probably shoot.
That's really where he lives out there. Yeah.
So, definitely confident.
And he's still having negative effects from his knee, too. He had, I think it was meniscus surgery in December, and he said he's still been feeling it a little bit. And he's still struggling a little bit. Because you can see kind of the way he moves out there, too, that he's a little slow. But unbelievable shooter. How many hit threes did he hit? 5. They all came at big time moments down the stretch too. There was one in the second half. We were down, I want to say, like 6 points, and he caught the ball like 6 or 7 feet behind the line and just pulled up and drilled it. So he's been a huge piece, and without his shooting that game, there was no shot we were coming back from that 23-point deficit to win that one. So that was a great game for the program. I'm really happy to see. That was our first ACC road win. Actually, our first road win in general
2 years
since
before the pandemic.
February 2020. Yeah,
before the pandemic,
which is crazy. So it's a tough stat, but super glad for the team. Super happy that they pulled off that game. It's good to
get one. Getting one is a success on its own. You know what I mean? That road win, especially ACC.
Yeah, especially in the ACC against any team, it's tough to win a game.
That game actually still hasn't started yet. Still delayed. BC hockey. Quick update: 1-1 at the end of one between Notre Dame and BC men's hockey tonight. Close game. Mark McLaughlin scored actually in the first 17 seconds of the game, and BC ended up giving up a goal 12 minutes into the period after that. So pretty close game, 1-1. You always know the Holy War is always going to be a close one. So good game though. Should finish up to be a good one. And then BC basketball, I said, hasn't started yet because of that leak on the court, like Zach was saying earlier.
Yeah, supposed to play Louisville tonight on the road. Should be a good game. Louisville's had a bit of a tough stretch as of late, dropping their last 3 ACC games to Pitt, NC State, and Florida State. But they're still 10-7 overall and 4-3 in the conference. They were 4-0 in the conference actually before early in January. They've had a little bit of a sluggish last couple of weeks though. They're still a top tier program though. They still got plenty of 4- and 5-star recruits out there on the floor. So it's gonna be a tough game for the Eagles to win, especially. Going up against a big time team like that. But I think we can keep it close. The way this team has been playing, the new culture that Earl Grant's building has been great to see. It seems like everyone just plays hard. Guys are really buying into this gritty defense.
Yeah, definitely.
And just never giving up. Down 23 points against Clemson and climbing all the way back.
Took the W.
That's a big time culture win for the team. Big statement for the program. Huge confidence booster too, I'm sure. So these guys are going to be coming in hot tonight. I think it'll be a close game.
I wish you would have kept them updated like midway, but no.
Yeah, it's too bad the game got postponed.
What do you think of predictions though? Let's hear it.
I'm not going to root against BC. I like watching this team a lot. It's been a lot of fun to watch this season. Getting to watch all the road games over Christmas break. So I'm going to take BC 74-71. I don't think, to be honest, I think Louisville's too good for us to win by any more than that. I think we're going to have, for us to win, we're going to have another great shooting night.
We're not going to be able to stop them from guys like 50 or 60. Yeah, there's no chance of keeping that 60.
Yeah, because they got a high octane offense too. So
hopefully they can play the game. That's
yeah. It says the new time start time here is 8:17 now. They had a little bit of a leak on the court.
Okay, that makes sense. I wish you could have kept you guys updated with that, but
yeah, we could have gotten play by play.
I'll root for BC obviously, but I don't know. I don't know if I was betting money, I'd probably bet Louisville. Just being honest about it. I keep my takes honest always. I'd probably bet Louisville if I was betting money, but for the sake of BC Sports Radio, I'll take BC. I don't know. It's a tough one. If I was betting money, I'd probably go Louisville by 7. I'd probably go Louisville by 7.
That's good. That's still a close game, though.
But since, BC Sports Radio, I'll go BC 68, Louisville 66. BC by 2 there.
There we go.
With that. But BC hockey, starting the second period right now. BC's coming off 3 straight losses, 2 to UNH and 1 to UConn. Both, mid-tier Hockey East teams. So losing...
Very big historic programs, though.
UConn's right in the middle. But
they both had a little bit of a down year, but still, it was 2 years ago, our freshman year, even... we were, 6 in the country.
10.
They were 10 or something.
Yeah, it was like 7 versus 10, which...
It's always a big-time matchup. A lot of high...
College hockey.
Yeah, a lot of future NFL players on both sides.
Speaking of college hockey, though, AIC, my boy Steven called in about a month and a half ago now. AIC at the time was 2-8-1. They've now gone on to win 8 straight games. Since that call, they're 9-0-1 or 9-1-0. They 9-1-1. So they have 9 wins, 1 loss, and a tie actually. Now they're 11-9-1. They were struggling. They went on a run. They won 8 straight games now. Jake Stella's had a great season, so I've been following them a lot for him.
Yeah, that's impressive. Wow.
They're going. They're 11-9-1 now, number 1 in their division actually, which is pretty cool. So by heavily, they got 32 points. The next closest got 28, and they play 2 games less than the team that's at second. So they got a distance there, which is pretty good. But just had to get a quick AIC update in. But BC football.
Let's get into the last
few minutes.
Major spectator sport for BC. BC football. As of today, the school just announced 2 new transfers for the team. The first being Dino Tomlin, a receiver from Maryland, actually the son of Mike Tomlin, Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. Coming out of high school, he was ranked a 2-star athlete. And last season, he had 2 receptions for 12 yards. I was pretty glad to see this pickup. We've lost a lot of wide receiver depth this off season with guys like C.J. Lewis, Jelani Galloway, Ethan Williams today entering the transfer portal. So, a wide receiver room that 2 weeks ago was super deep has definitely kind of thinned out towards the bottom.
White.
Kobe White as well.
C.J. Lewis, like you said, and I mean, Jelani Galloway, who knows what he's going to do, but I hope he comes back. I'm a big fan of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, we still got our top guys like Zay Flowers, Jalen Gill, Jaden Williams.
Besides that,
but, we need some depth down there. Yeah, so it's good to see a guy like Dino Tallman come in.
Running backs,
There's not too much film on him, but the fact that he got to see a little bit of game time, had a couple catches last year is a positive sign.
I'm sure he's good. So, if he's Mike Tomlin's son, he's probably pretty solid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just cool that we have another NFL head coach's son on campus with, Tyler Vrabel just leaving for the draft, being the son of Mike.
A lot of guys, we got to highlight a couple guys that are leaving for the draft. Zion Johnson.
For sure, Zion Johnson. He could be a first-round pick.
Hopefully the Giants' dream draft right now, for me, Evan Neal probably won't be their 5. Let's dream that he is. Evan Neal, Tyler Linderbaum, Zion Johnson, starting guard, starting center, starting right tackle.
That would be a great draft for you
Figure
guys.
It out.
That's all you need, really.
Get the offensive coordinator, figure it out. If a head coach has an offensive mind, that's what I want. But if they don't, if we bring in Ryan Poles from the Chiefs, I love that. Giants figured it out. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
I think Zion Johnson will make for a great guard in the NFL, too. He's ready
first,
to go.
early second, if not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. He was projected today late second round, actually. I forget. I can't remember what team it was.
He has a good combine. He probably move up.
Mm-hmm. He's got definitely an NFL-ready physique.
He's the hit dude. He
great player, too. Didn't give up 1 sack,
sacks.
only like 6 pressures or something all season, which is super impressive against a lot of big-time ACC D-lines. Like Florida State has a big D-line. Clemson. It's all 5-star guys there.
Mm-hmm. And he didn't give up anything there.
He's impressive, too. Alec Lindstrom, too, another great center.
It's tough to lose him. Maybe a third rounder, I think.
Probably, yeah. That's where he's projected to go.
See him get to the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
His brother, though, Chris, only starting guard in the NFL to start all 17 games and not allow a sack.
Yeah, that's impressive.
So, 14th pick. Me and my dad actually met him, I think a couple times. We got pictures with him on the field, and very nice kid, too. So, stand-up guy and a first-round pick.
Yeah, those two guys, too, they weren't really highly recruited coming out of high school. They just came into BC.
Boys with does.
Developed really well. Yeah, developed really well and just turned into 2 of the best O-linemen in the country in both of their respective college careers. So, that was really cool to see. Going back to our transfers today, though, we got one more defensive lineman from Arizona, Regan Terry. He didn't get to see the field in 2021 as a true freshman. And then coming out of high school, he had offers from Nebraska and USC. I think he's got a lot of potential in D-line. Scouts were saying back when he was in high school, could be a solid starter for the team. We definitely do need some D-line help. Thankfully, Marcus Valdez is coming back for his final season on campus. He was a big-time producer for this defensive line that really struggled to get to the quarterback and stop the running game over the last 2 years. Shida Salah as well. He should be a major piece of that.
Saw him. He was hurt, but he said he'll be ready for training camp when I saw him.
There we go.
Right before break.
I was a little underwhelmed, though, by our moves in defensive line because we are very thin on D-line right now. So we got to see what we're going to do because that has been our biggest issue, I think, consistently is stopping mobile quarterbacks and stopping the run game. And just getting to the quarterback in general and putting quarterbacks under pressure.
Coming here next year. Louisville. Yeah. We got to find a way to meet him. It's like my favorite quarterback college football.
The D-line's got to find a way to meet him, too.
Going to the 4th year of him being my favorite quarterback in college football. So hopefully I'm able to meet him next year. It'd be sick.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
But and then also BC football. Talking about BC football, their bowl game was canceled. I know we highlighted heavily on our Week 6 episode that last Wednesday night, and then also on the Sports Saturday on the FM studio station. We highlighted BC football pretty heavily, and then the game was canceled because of COVID. BC
ran into issues the day before.
I think like half the team actually tested positive.
Yeah, they said they didn't even have a couple position groups. They didn't even have enough guys to field the team.
Yeah, and have the kicker running routes and stuff. And nuts.
So yeah, that would be tough.
Things don't work out there, obviously, but hope everyone's doing well on the team and everything by now. It's been like a month.
Yeah, disappointing for the team. You practice for all this few weeks after the final regular season game. You go all the way down to Annapolis, go through all the festivities, get ready for the game, and the day before. You find out you can't play. You got to feel for the team. But that being said, great to see a lot of the guys coming back for one final season that feel like they have unfinished business. Notably, Phil Dracovic is coming back. There was rumors that he could leave for the draft. Zay Flowers, Josh DeBerry, even guys like Christian Mahogany said he's going to stay for another year. Jaden Woodby. A lot of big-time guys that are going to make big impacts for the team next year. So a lot of our team's actually coming back. I think the biggest position group that we're losing is O-line. We're losing 4 guys there. So 4 guys going to the NFL. So that's going to be a big need. Only having Christian Mahogany returning. Ozzie Trapillo got a little bit of action towards the end of the year when Tyler Vrabel was out. I think he's going to be a great starter. His dad having played at BC. And
big kid too.
Yeah, great player. We'll have to see. There hasn't really been any emerging names for the rest of the 3 spots on that O-line. So we'll probably find out as training camp moves on and we get towards spring ball, seeing who's going to fill up those remaining 3 spots. Because I think that's the biggest question mark for the team right now, along with the D-line too, who are going to bring in to, get to the quarterback and get to these running backs out there.
Quick update, BC Hockey, Notre Dame just scored 54 seconds into the second period on a power play. It's right now 2-1 Notre Dame with 19 minutes to go in the second period. Eric Dobson's struggling. We went to the Northeastern women's hockey game last night at BC versus BC's women's team. And BC's women's goalie, they did lose 5-0 to Northeastern. Northeastern is number 3 in the country and lost in the finals last year. Hopefully they get that figured out this year.
She was elite.
She was actually good. The 5 goals were actually impressive because they were probably 100 shots on net.
Yeah, the puck was in front of the net for probably 10 minutes at least. Out of
just straight.
Right in front of the net,
just ripping them from the blue line.
Yeah.
Just ripping them. And they're a very good team, Northeastern, and she's probably better than Eric Dobb.
I mean, yeah, Northeastern being one of the best teams in the country. I'm still impressed by the way that BC women's hockey played. I think they have a lot of talent. I think they're an underrated team, especially with the goalie too. I mean,
it wasn't the
5 goals is tough, but I mean,
they scored none though. It's not even her
that was
fault.
against such a great team in Northeastern.
Northeastern's goalies unreal too, though. But that's the thing. Northeastern's hockey team this year in general, men's and women's, have just been wiping teams out. 4-0 against Vermont. They won yesterday in men's, and then women's won 5-0 against BC last night.
Yeah, they've had a hot year.
9-0. Both goalies have been unreal. Devin Levi just got his 9th shutout. BC, got 3 guys that are up right now in the initial Hobie Baker candidates right now. They got 3. Somehow Jack St. Ivany's in there. I don't know how that happened, but
who are the other 2?
He's in there.
Jack McBain,
it's McBain and McLaughlin.
Okay.
Which McLaughlin, I understand. McBain too, he's good, but St. Ivany being in there was a question mark for me. But what can you do?
I mean, if they're nominating 30 guys or something.
They nominate I think 50 or something, 45 guys, something like that.
I mean, yeah, that's fair then.
I figured. I mean, he actually got votes though. That's the thing. That's what confused me. But I mean, rooting for me either way. But
gotta root for you guys.
Northeastern, Jordan Harris, defenseman. He's a candidate himself. Scored a goal yesterday. Canadians prospect. Where are we going there after this year? Aiden McDonough picked up his 15th goal of the year, or 16th now actually.
He's been on a tear this season for
Northeastern. He's been killing it. And then Devin Levi had another shutout, his 9th shutout on the year, which is nuts. So the Beanpot coming up in 2 weeks. It's going to be good. 2 weeks, right?
A week and a half,
really.
Yeah, a week from next Monday.
Yeah, so
first game we got BC versus Northeastern, so that'll be a big one for us.
8
Looking forward to that
too,
for sure.
Prime time. Although, Harvard lost their 2 best forwards to the Olympics. BC lost McLaughlin and McBain.
Players, yeah.
McLaughlin and Helisic, they haven't announced Canada's team yet. McBain probably will go if they do want him. I'd imagine they want him. So if he denies it, maybe he doesn't go. I know Jordan Harris.
I bet if he gets the invite, he would go.
I'd imagine. I know Jordan Harris and Aiden McDonough had to have gotten invited. They must have said no because they probably want to win the Beanpot. Maybe think Northeastern has a chance to win it this year, which I agree. I mean, Northeastern's 10th, 11th, 12th. They've been around there, hovering there the last 2 weeks in the rankings. So they definitely can do it. They've one of the best defensemen in college hockey. The first or second best goal scorer in college hockey in Aiden McDonough. I'll say first, but you can argue a couple other guys. McLaughlin's really good, and then there's one other team that has someone that's pretty solid. Can't think off the top of my head. Arizona State, Connor Savoy is his name. He's really good. And then Devin Levi, the best goalie in college hockey. So I think Northeast probably thinks they could probably run it and make a run there. So I understand them two probably not going to the Olympics if they didn't think Team USA could make a run. But it'd be pretty cool though if they did go.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Beanpot should be great either way. It is tough that with U.S. Olympics no longer sending NHL players, then a lot of these top-tier Boston programs have guys going to the Olympics. So either way, it'll still be a great environment, great atmosphere in the Garden. Definitely looking forward to that game.
Yeah,
we actually talked our predictions on at the start of the season. We did Halloween. I did predictions. Yeah, we were talking about the Beanpot already.
I had a goal by Jordan Harris getting his payback, and I had Aiden McDonough scoring 2. And I don't know what I said. I think I said 4-2. We got Northeast in the first game.
Hey, don't forget though, we were on the podcast right before the first Friday night game, Northeastern versus BC. I said 5-3 BC, and
I'll let you have that.
That happened.
Northeastern does play them in the Bean Pot, and then a home and away each February 18th and 19th. So
That should be good.
Northeastern's ready to go. But it's nice, really quick, Harvard's losing their 2 best forwards to the Olympics. BU's losing their starting goalie. And then, obviously BC's losing at least Hellison and McLaughlin for now. And who knows, maybe McBain. Levi could go for Northeastern. But as of now, Northeastern's not losing anyone. So I'd imagine they're probably a favorite. But it should be good, though. I'm excited to be – we'll cover that more next week probably. Go more in depth in BC hockey just because the Bean Pot will be a week away from that. So
Absolutely.
I know everyone's psyched about that.
Yeah, so as we're reaching a little bit past 8 o'clock right now, we're going to wrap up this episode for the week. Thank you guys so much for listening. As always, we're really excited to be back on campus and talking sports again this semester. So definitely appreciate you guys coming out and listening.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. We'll be back on next week, Wednesday night, January 26th, 7 to 8 p.m. Hopefully have some more call-ins then. We have our Instagram page out. We actually just got a YouTube as well. So make sure to check that out. We have an Instagram. Yep. We have an Instagram, Spotify, YouTube. We actually have a mailbag too for people that want to ask questions. So
thank
you guys so much for listening.
The link tree's in our Instagram bio.
Yes,
Joey and Zach.
check it out, Joey and Zach on Instagram, or checks out Playbook. The Playbook by with Joey and Zach on YouTube. You can check out all the links there through the About page on that. But just want to give a quick few shout outs. Shout out to Tommy, the whole Loftus family. Shout out Unc. Thank you guys for listening. Shout out to my family too. You guys are the best. Thank you guys for listening always. Appreciate it. And see you guys next week. Be a good one.
See you guys.